Let's talk about the basic supplies and things you'll have as you start to do the exciting step of piecing together your quilt blocks. So presser feet, every machine is different. I work on a Janome Memory Craft 6700P. I made my first quilt on a really basic Singer machine and came out wonderfully. So whatever you have is fine. Presser feet are very specific to the machine you have. You want to find a 1/4 inch presser foot if it came with your machine, but if it didn't, don't worry, I've got some other solutions here. This is what my presser foot looks like. The needle is going to sew, obviously, right in that opening. This is exactly a 1/4 inch, and you can even see that it's got this metal guide here. It helps you guide through and get a pretty good 1/4 inch seam because it keeps the fabric from slipping too far this way, which will create a larger seam. So that's my 1/4 inch Janome sewing foot, and I use it for my piecing. I also sometimes use, if you have a Janome, you don't need this, a different foot that is exactly a 1/4 inch. Does not have the guide on the side, but that's another alternative. If you have any kind of foot with a precise 1/4 inch, which you would measure from the needle to the edge here, then that will help guide you. This is a basic foot, which your machine will have a basic foot in some way, shape, or form. And this is fine too. You would find the marking or a line, in this case, the clear part, if you can tell there's like a sort of plastic clear part there, is a 1/4 inch when it starts to become the metal portion. So if this was all I had, I would just guide my fabric using that. Another alternative to no matter what foot you have is the wonderful seam tape. It's from a company called, let me show you, Cluck Cluck Sew. It's called diagonal seam tape. You can see that where I bought it, it was $7.59. I think you can get it for less. Line up the red right where your needle is as straight as you can from where the needle is going to sew. And then your fabric, you can guide along this seam here, which is a 1/4 inch, not seam marking for a 1/4 inch. So all kinds of ways. You can even use masking tape. Practice on your machine and put the tape where you want the fabric right up against that edge to make a 1/4 inch seam. You'll be good with whatever you got. For piecing, there's 1,000 kinds of needles. You will have needles that fit your machine. Most of them universally fit any machine. I like the Schmetz quilting needles, but I have a variety of other kinds. The key thing is for piecing, you're going through 2 relatively thin pieces of fabric. And so I use a 75/11. I use Aurifil for my piecing. I buy this in bulk. There's a slightly whiter one. This one is more cream, I guess. You don't really see the piecing thread. So this is what I like, but any kind is fine. Aurifil can be a little more expensive than other brands. It's not till you get to the quilting stage where you can have some fun with colors because you're going to see that on the top of the quilt and on the back of the quilt. So for piecing, you just need piecing thread. I use cotton thread, always cotton. Okay, and then you're going to see this cool tool. I love it. My friend bought it for me when I first started quilting. And so thank you, Donna, for turning me onto quilting and getting me this cool tool. So you just use an old rotary blade. You know, you take it out, you pop this piece out, you unscrew it, you put in an old rotary blade. I've been using this for years. And so you'll see in the piecing, I just cut the threads in between my chain piecing activity. So that's what that is. It's called Blade Saver, purplehobbies.com. You don't need it, you just need scissors. But that's the funky thing you'll see when I'm chain piecing. You are ready to sew. Power on, have fun. If you make a mistake, rip it out, do it again. This is practice. Practice makes progress. And you're going to be very excited as you see this come together really quickly. So enjoy.